Hello, welcome to today's video. My name is Stephen Hauser. We'll be going over a case of a patient with a pediatric septal perforation, and we will be exploring how this was actually repaired. These CAT scan images demonstrate the perforation, which is in the anterior inferior aspect of the patient's nose, approximately 1.5 centimeters in length front to back. Here we see the patient having a septal button in place, and this was in place for several years, and now we are in the process of removing it, cutting the stem that connects the two sides, and here we can see the perforation itself. And now we're measuring it at approximately 1.5 centimeters from front to back. This patient is 10 years old. Will be our approach to make an incision on the left to raise a septoplasty flap, to slide in some alloderm, and on the right side we will rotate the patient's mucosa into position to close this perforation. So we've now cut the back of the perforation approximately 180 degrees. We've rotated that flap into position. It looks kind of sloppy, but actually this is in good position. This is inside of the flap now. You can see on the left, the patient actually has the flap in good position and looking very flat. And then the alloderm is slid in place, and you can see the white of the alloderm shining out of the hole itself. 3 weeks have gone by after we've done this repair, and now we'll explore how the patient looks as a result. These still images show the splints that were in position placed at the end of the patient's case. In the video then we'll detail this more fully. A fair amount of crust builds up on these splints, which is pretty typical. The suture holding these splints in place is clipped to allow us then to remove the splints on each side. These splints were indeed trimmed down from the typical size because this patient was only 10, and the typical Doyle splints are crafted more for an adult. Looking up now, there we were seeing the area of the donor site on the patient's right side. The flap itself appears to be in good position, and at this point we are not seeing a perforation. Several of the sutures can be identified. The cartilage up high can be seen. The middle turbinate in the distance on the left can be visualized. The white is cartilage that was exposed and will remucosalize in time. The white of the alloderm is seen shining through the perforation, and this will act as a good scaffold for the patient's mucosa to grow over this area. You see that there actually is some red blush actually onto the alloderm itself, suggesting that there are vessels beginning to grow into this area, which is quite encouraging. I'm simply exploring both sides, making sure that we have removed any crust or debris, and indeed exploring to confirm that there is no residual perforation and that the patient's tissue appears to actually be fairly healthy and in good shape. The still image shows the donor site where the cartilage was rotated down, and this is the flap itself 3 weeks after being rotated into position, looks healthy and robust. And this is what the hole had looked like from the left side. And here at 3 weeks later, you can see the red vessels growing into the tissue very nicely. Thank you for watching.